We got some new details tonight regarding the man posing as a police officer, pulling over women, and then sexually assaulting them. Now, the two attacks happened within 4 hours of each other, one at Nash Road in northwest Atlanta and the other at Terrell Mill Road in Cobb County. Police now believe it is the same person. Two agencies now are working together, and they say the suspect is really working his character, even going back to his car with one of the victim's license and registration and acting as though he was processing it while he was still out there. So Christy Ether has been working this story for us, and Christy, the big question is, why did it take 36 hours for them to ultimately let everyone know about this?
Vinny, that's a great question, one a lot of you are asking. So we asked APD today, and they said they had an extremely viable lead. They thought they knew who that guy could be. So they wanted to work it, and they worked it and tried to run down that lead first. They say it didn't pan out the way they wanted it to, and when it didn't, that's when they released all the information.
All right, so now the victim isn't even meeting a sketch artist until Wednesday, so why is this now slowing down?
Another good question. The delay here has to do with the victim. She said that was the day she was first available. So the police officer said they actually spoke to that. Take a listen.
I can emphatically state that as a general rule, we try not to lean on victims of sexual assault. So if she's comfortable with Wednesday, while we would like it to be sooner, Wednesday it will be.
We started looking into how this guy could look so convincing as an officer. Turns out it's not that hard. You can buy police lights and badges online. The victims described the one he bought as a blue light bar on top of the car, but we bought these for the newsroom a while ago. You can own them, but using them as if you're a cop is the illegal part. So since all this happened, police have been telling you what to do. Cobb Police made this video to show you how to stay safe in a traffic stop.
If the area doesn't appear to be safe or well lit, Georgia law allows a motorist to activate their hazard lights before driving to a safe, well-lit area. The activation of the hazard lights lets the officer know that the driver is aware of the officer behind them and that driver is looking for a safe place to pull over.
So Ron, this is what police have been telling people to do, to slow down, put your hazards on. But as a former police officer, what is this telling you?
Well, the first thing I'm going to do as a former police officer, I'm going to check out the vehicle, get the license plate, and I'm going to call dispatch and say, this is the vehicle that I'm about to stop. I'm going to give the location as well. But what's interesting is I see the flashing lights, so I'm wondering, is the driver going through some type of emergency? You know, what's taking place here? And also, Christy, if I can, I'm trying to see the driver or any passengers in there if they're involved in what they call furtive movements or any type of suspicious movements that I should be concerned about.
It does feel a bit risky, but when you see this, does that signal to you that, hey, the driver sees you?
I would think so. If I pull up behind the driver, got the lights, tapping the siren, whoop, whoop, just letting them know I'm behind them, right? And they turn on their flashing lights, then I'm thinking they're trying to signal to me that there's a little bit more to the stop than what I'm seeing.
Now, one other thing police have been saying is to call 911 and confirm the officer is real. Now, for you, it wasn't for a traffic stop, but a woman actually did that to you to make sure that you were a real officer. You got a little annoyed.
Yeah, I was a little annoyed, but this was a burglary call. It was a cold call, so I went to the doorstep, knocked on the door. Officer, Oakland Police Department. I had the uniform, the hat, the badge, the gun, the baton. My car was sitting out there on the curb, and as she looked through the peephole, she says, I need to call dispatch to make sure you're a police officer. I was a little offended, but, you know, it made a lot of sense. She called dispatch. Dispatch confirmed that I truly was a police officer, and I went about my business.
It was her right, and it went smoothly from there.
Absolutely.
Well, APD spoke about it today. This is how they put it.
But it is imperative that if you're going to follow these steps so that we don't think that you're running from us or fleeing from us, that you slow down substantially and stop in a lighted area once you have confirmation.
Yeah, it's really like walking a tightrope, right? Because you don't want to alarm them, but you want to make sure you're safe.
There's no verbal communication going on, but you're trying to give them signals.
Now, they also say to call 911. Are they afraid if everyone's calling 911 every time they get pulled over, it's going to jam up the emergency lines?
Yeah, that's a real concern. We asked them about that, too. They say it ties up their lines. It also ties up a lot of resources, and it also makes the driving public more apprehensive, which then makes the police officer's job more difficult.
All right, now you're going to find more on this. Thanks so much, Christy, by the way. You'll find more on this developing story right now on 11live.com, including tips on what to do if you're being pulled over and if you're not sure if it's a real officer or a fake officer.
All right.